Well, the year was 2012, and John Sibley had just joined Southface as our Senior Policy Fellow. He was tasked with creating a more formal policy practice here. Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber were still a thing, and apparently a lot of people in the state thought that we didn't have enough sunshine for solar energy to work here. So the idea was to create this big data book. We were following something that was done in North Carolina with a clean energy data book. They said, hey, when you go out and do the research and write this 100-page book. I'm like, instead of writing a book, can we just do an online database? As soon as I'm done with the research, as soon as the book is written, the data becomes out of date. Dennis Creech and John Sibley said, go with it. That's one of the great things about Southface, it's very nimble.
Southface is well known for promoting energy efficiency, but a lesser known fact is that the organization began as the volunteer-based Georgia Solar Coalition in 1978. As our focus shifted toward energy efficiency, the organization rebranded itself as Southface, a name that paid homage to our solar roots. In 2012, Southface re-engaged more directly in solar advocacy when John Sibley joined us as our Senior Policy Fellow. The tools that Shan developed have proven invaluable to the efforts of John and other solar advocates in the state as they work to advance solar-friendly policies here in Georgia. Policies such as the Solar Power Free Market Financing Act of 2015.
When people thought of solar, they immediately went to the sunniest places in the country, California and Arizona. Of course solar works in the desert. We're not the desert. We get rain, we get clouds, we got winters. The reason why data is important is because if the party line is that solar works in California and Arizona where there's a desert, it doesn't work here in Georgia, well, you gotta have the data to show it's already here. The idea here was to say solar already works in Georgia.
The Georgia Public Service Commission relies on data to make informed policy decisions. PSC staff and commissioners like me use Southface GeorgiaEnergyData.org website to track solar developments all over our state. Both the solar map and the dashboards show Georgia's solar landscape. That's where solar is flourishing in our state and where we have opportunities to grow it. This helps me as a commissioner to know where solar energy is needed in the entire Georgia resource portfolio.
In 2012, the solar community knew there was about 20 megawatts of solar on the ground. And a lot of things that we were doing at the time was to compare Germany with Georgia. Germany had the highest installed capacity of solar in the world in 2012. You'd show a map of Germany and how much solar energy Germany has compared to Georgia. And you'd compare Georgia to New Jersey, which had almost a gigawatt of solar on the ground at the time. And those comparisons were really falling on deaf ears because, well, it works for Germany and it works for New Jersey and it works for California, but this is Georgia. Wait a minute. Let's just look at Georgia and then plot where the existing solar systems are. And that begins a conversation about what are the opportunities that we're not taking advantage of within this state. You're not talking about Germany, New Jersey, California, Arizona. It's all about Georgia. And I think that changed the dialogue. One of the advantages of a dynamic website is that it allows users to search for information based on whatever attribute they need. So for example, we can search for a particular project. So let's go ahead and search for a project name. And let's search for Camilla Solar Farm. Camilla Solar Farm was at one time one of the largest solar farms here in the state. And so here, what we can see is the farm. This is where the farm is. And you can get attributes about the farm, such as the size, who installed it, who the panel manufacturer is. One of the key people for Camilla Solar Farm was Joe Bostic, who of course is a former recipient of this award as well. You can also search by community. So let's take a look at Solarize Tybee. Instead of being one farm, Solarize Tybee was a community effort that was started by Paul Wolf, also a former recipient of this award. And it was a bulk purchasing program. And here you can see all of the solar installations that went into Chatham County because of Solarize Tybee. Most of Georgia's solar industry is a local industry. It's local Georgia firms that are doing the solar installations. And at 2012, when we launched it, the #1 solar panel manufacturer in the state that had solar panels on the ground and on rooftops in the state was Suniva. And Suniva is, of course, a local company based out of Norcross. That's a very powerful story, right? We import all of our coal, we import all of our natural gas, but here we've got a homegrown energy source. We can manufacture it in the state, and Georgia labor puts it on rooftops, puts it on the ground. After years of mapping other people's solar installations, I finally get to add my house to the solar map. I'm participating in the 3rd Solarize program in the state. There was Solarize Tybee, Solarize Athens, and now we have Solarize Decatur DeKalb. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to take advantage of the bulk purchase and get solar on my house. For the last 4 years, another thing that we've been doing at Southface is an annual clean energy industry census. And through that census, we have been able to quantify the economic value that Georgia's broader clean energy industry has for the state.
Solar is an economic driver for Georgia, something we already knew anyway. But through its annual clean energy industry census, Southface has identified over 200 solar firms in Georgia that collectively employ, are you ready for this? 3,000 people and counting.
Last year's analysis reveals 3,000 jobs, over $500 million of gross revenue, almost 240 firms in Georgia, and that's growing. We've just completed the 2016 census, and yeah, solar jobs are growing.
Building on the solid foundation laid by Shan, Southface will continue to add to our clean energy data sets and our online platforms to support the efforts of solar advocates across the state, both here in Georgia and throughout the Southeast.
These services provided by Southface through Shan's work are important to the creation of good policy that results in more clean energy and jobs for Georgia. Congratulations, Shan and Southface. Keep up the great work.
Congratulations, Shan, and thank you to all the solar advocates who are helping to move clean energy forward here in Georgia.
Do you like solar panels?
Yeah.
What color? What color solar panels do you want?
Pink.
Pink solar panels? Hey Seth, she wants pink solar panels.